this is the one. Now is the time, don't ever stop. We should've known, gotta be strong. We should've known, right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world's at your feet. Carlos, you sure? Not the days, here you gonna get it, Kenny, do you really want it? I see it in your eyes, you want the cup of... Now Peter, it's coming, the Captain Marconi here, is that right? It's gonna happen. The Football Australia Championship is coming, Australian Championship, here we go! Here, we are the people, we are the passion, we are the history. Boy oh boy, have we got a show tonight for you guys on Football. We've got here right now Peter Tsekenis from Malaysia, and we've got a gentleman coming right now to join us. There's Stefan Georgic is coming right here, right now, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's all party time here, boys. Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you, Peter, all the way from Malaysia. There's Stefan. Come forward, Stefan, and get in the picture with us as well. Boy oh boy, Stefan is our brand new host. Of course, we had to actually start the show on time because we've got Peter here, Marconi Coach, all the way from where? Malaysia right now. Now, Peter, how is it over there? How is it? It's a football country, by the way. Is that a real football country, even though it's Asia? It is, isn't it?
Oh, I love their football here. Definitely, I went and visited Alice Edwards, who runs Johor, who's owned by the Prince. The facilities here are fantastic. The new stadium they have is world class. So, yeah, they really love their football and they're trying their best to improve the standards, definitely. Fantastic.
So I tell you what, Peter, now the championship is coming up. The championship, I'm going to say this, but please don't get really mad with me, Carlos, or of course, Kenny, the NSL Australian Championship. There you guys. We want to get a bit of nostalgia, a little bit of nostalgia as well for the game. Now, Peter, you played in the NSL. You played in the NSL, of course, for a certain team called Olympic. Mate, looks like we're going to make a 360 circle again. Is that right? What do you feel?
Look, I don't know. It's obviously the Australian Championship. The FFA are trying to obviously get a second-tier competition running, and it's good to see, the old NSL clubs that are, in the NPLs around the country being involved. I think it's a good opportunity for clubs to get back on that stage and give the supporters and the cultural backgrounds of all these clubs the opportunity to get back into it. So I think, the clubs are excited. I know the players and staff are all excited. So, we're hoping it's a successful one.
I'm going to bring on Carlos for a sec because Carlos has actually got one of the teams he's supporting in the championship. Really, Carlos? Who are they, mate? Looks like, you know what they look like? Heidelberg, mate. That's Heidelberg United. Please, that's Heidelberg United. Please, come on, tell me it is.
Well, this is Northwest Sydney Spirit FC, who are looking for a new coach after David Perkovic resigned after 9 years in charge and doing an amazing job with a team that had a minuscule budget. And, I support them. They have played under Perkovic some amazing football, very attractive. But I just want to clarify something for all the viewers. Throughout this process, when the idea of the second tier was announced and then he morphed into the Australian Championship, I have always been in favour of this idea with Harry. We spoke to Nigalatas at the beginning, and throughout this process, I have always been in favour of this idea that the more football we play, the better for everyone, better for the coaches, better for the players to get in the shop window. With the new transfer window in January, who knows who will get a professional contract overseas. So contrary to what other people have said, we have always been in favour of this idea to promote football and give players and coaches more opportunities to shine and to better themselves. Yes, it's not perfect, but it is a start, and let's run with it and embrace it. So Spirit FC is looking for a new coach. Also, like many of the NPL clubs, contracts have expired. Many of the clubs are extending player contracts to cover this 3-week window. It's going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to going to the games and seeing some quality football and seeing teams I will never be able to see, like Bayswater and Avondale, and Heidelberg and Preston Lions. I will never travel to Victoria to go and see them. So I'm looking forward when they come across to Sydney to watch them play, see how they play, what style they play. It's going to be amazing, Harry. I'm really loving this idea.
Let me bring Peter now. Peter, just before I bring the other boys on, I just want to ask you: is how are you actually handling the boys after they've finished their season? You're giving them a break right now? They're going on a break, and when do you start back again for the championship training?
It's not my question, Harry.
Sorry,
it's not my question.
Write it down.
So we finished. Obviously, we went into the semi-final phase of our competition. Since that time, I probably gave them, I think it was about 10 days off.
Is that all?
Wow. And they restarted. Yeah, 10 days off. We restarted training this week. The S&C coach is taking the first couple of sessions just to get them up to speed. And then we'll play an in-house game, and then we've got one game against Broadmeadow Magic from Newcastle, who are in the championship as well. So we'll play that before we play Heidelberg away, which it's going to be a tough one because Heidelberg are continuing straight through because they got the cup match a week before against Newcastle. So we need to be get up to speed pretty quickly because we're going to have a tough game first up in Melbourne.
How are you guys looking forward to playing against Heidelberg? Heidelberg away at Olympic Village. I've been fortunate enough to call a couple of games at the Olympic Village. I mean, they didn't concede a goal to any A-League team. So, I mean, do you reckon you guys are going to be the first to do it?
Oh, look, they obviously got to play Newcastle this week in the Cup. We'll see how they fared in that. Look, there's a lot of ways of looking at it. We had the best defensive team in the competition in the New South Wales Premier League. So we back ourselves defensively. We've got a strong unit. Look, it's very rare that we go into a game underdogs in our competition. So we're looking forward to having that underdog tag against Heidelberg because obviously that's what people are talking, that Heidelberg will be the favourites one way or another, which is well deserved. So we're looking forward to that challenge. I just focus on making sure that having a break and getting physically and mentally ready for another competition in a short period of time. My job is to get them ready physically so we can meet the demands of this short competition that's coming our way. So we're really looking forward to it, and I'm happy to take the underdog tag at this early stage.
Yeah. Now, Kenny, do you have anything for? Of course, you would have something for your the teammate of a different generation at Sydney Olympic. Of course, mate. Come on, mate. Come on. Give us that stuff.
No. Firstly, I want to ask Carlos because Carlos has followed Spirit, and they've been amazing. Why? Because you've obviously got your ear to the ground there, mate. Why would a coach after 9 years? And they get the opportunity to play in a competition that we're pushing to say it's a relatively new pinnacle. Why do you leave? And why does the Avondale, and let me just keep going a little bit, why is the Avondale coach left, and why potentially is the Sydney Olympic coach left 3 weeks before this comp starts? I need to get my head around this.
You won the New South Wales Premiership in style, and you could have gone on to bigger and better things. But the other side of the coin is if you achieve whatever you have achieved, why not leave on a high? I don't know. There's something I have to ask Perkovic that question. I don't have any inside information. Everyone was surprised at the announcement that he had resigned immediately, and no one expected that. I'm sure that he has his reasons, but having said that, you won everything you could have won with a very small budget. Why not? Maybe after 9 years you're mentally exhausted. That's another thing that we need to factor in. Coaching NPL is not easy. You have a full-time job like many people do. You have a family. You spend 4 days, 4 nights a week training. It can be mentally exhausting, and I'm sure that people need to have a break.
With respect, mate, we're talking about creating and you fly this flag, and I don't disagree with you about it. We're flying the flag about playing more games and giving more opportunities. this is exactly what this is supposed to be. He's supposed to be putting himself in the shop window. You can't have it. It can't be chicken and egg, mate. You can't be burnt out and no one to go. And the same with Avondale and the same at Olympic. Potentially, 3 clubs could be going into this competition without coaches.
Yeah, look, it's a question that only those individuals can answer. I don't have any inside information.
I have some information about Avondale, because apparently, of course, Mr. Markovsky, the coach, of course, Zoran Markovsky, said that he had enough. He'd been there for too long.
He did say that.
He'd said long, and he wanted to change, and he did want to go, and he wanted to look after his family a lot more too. So he's looking after his family a lot more, and that's what he wanted to do. So he had enough. So I mean, to him to go on an extra after MPL, boy, that you know yourself how hard that would be. He's been there for what, 7 or 8 years?
Something
7 or 8
like that,
years.
yeah.
So Kenny, they've got a new coach already. He's a former player from Avondale, Germano or something, a brand new player. A brand new coach. So he's going to be coaching there. So they've filled that position up. Now, Peter, the other thing I'll ask you is, do you have any players? Now, from what I know, some of the other clubs that are actually playing in this competition, have actually got players in just for those few games to try and win it. So, I mean, Western United, South Melbourne have picked up so many Western United players, it's not funny. They're not willing to release the names, but they've picked them up. So have you got any new players coming in for this competition?
Yeah, I've got 3 players that are additional to what we actually played in the NPL. Actually, probably 5. There's 2 young boys that I've promoted from the 20s who are under 20, so we need to have that to comply with the rules in that 23-man squad. So yeah, about 5 new faces will be part of the squad. Look, we're to be honest, we're contrary to what people think. We don't spend as much as some other clubs, contrary to what people think. We do have other good resources in terms of the training facilities and everything else they have to offer, but we try to keep it to a respectable level, and we bring players in that want to play for the club, have ambition, and use Marconi as a platform for going on to bigger, better things, and that includes staff, that includes players, and everyone involved. So to answer your question, we've got 5 new faces.
I like your question that you actually said. I wanted to ask a little bit because I know a lot of the room here is going to be talking a lot about the Australian Championship with you, but I just want you to reflect a little bit on the NPL season as a whole, how you guys had. I mean, the Championship is a whole different thing, but how do you guys feel like you guys did in NPL in New South Wales? Obviously, what was the whole general team's consensus coming from the season? You guys feel like you achieved everything you could have, and what's something that you feel like you guys didn't quite achieve that you probably would have liked to?
Look, I can sit here and everyone can make excuses about their season, ifs and buts. I think we were solid defensively. We probably could have scored more goals this season, but we were at one stage we were 5 points clear on top of the table. I think what affected us the most, even though we did finish with the best defence in the league, we had probably 10 different combinations of centre back because we just had an epidemic of losing centre backs. 3 or 4 of our centre backs just fell to injury at different times, so I had to reshuffle my back line, taking players out of position to fill the gaps. Even though we had those issues along the way, we still managed to be 4 points behind first. So I believe if we didn't have those issues, that probably would have got us across the line. But everyone has that story. No excuses. It's just the way. You need a little bit of luck to go your way in terms of injuries and suspensions. And unfortunately, we fell a little bit short. But, everyone's available now. Everyone's back, fresh, confident. Boys are looking good. We're going to back ourselves. We're not going into any competition thinking that we can't win it. That's not how we're set up. And our frame of mind is always to go in and give it a good shake. So we'll be prepared and ready to go.
Now, let me say one thing. I've got your group here, right? Let's talk about your group. And Kenny, you're gonna enjoy this because I tell you what, right now, Kenny, there are 3 former NSL clubs in one group. Kenny, What can we say? It's the NSL all over. And I said it before, Peter. Peter.
You called it before, Harry.
I did call him Heidelberg United, mate. You would have played against Heidelberg. You'd have played at the Village. How was it like when you played there?
Yeah, it was always an experience playing in Melbourne. Obviously, I went there with Sydney Olympic, so it was always a good rivalry. But, always enjoyable, moments in Melbourne when we played there. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to. I think my assistant Peter Papais actually played for Heidelberg.
Really?
At one point, yeah. So he's looking forward to going back to the Village, and even with Johnny A, seeing him again, and having a bit of a hit out as coaches against each other, will be a good experience.
I've got a question for you as well. Actually, funny they mentioned Johnny A. Obviously, he was a Water Coach of the Year here just the other day here down here in Victoria. What do you find that Johnny A does really well, especially we get so many people, so many coaches that say so many different things in your eyes. What do you feel like Johnny A does exceptionally well against all these other clubs, especially why, Heidelberg had the run that they had in the Australia Cup?
Oh, look, like any decent coach, I mean, he's got them well structured. Everyone knows their job. He fires them up because obviously, he's got players in the position he wants that have the certain ability that he requires in those positions. And he's just got a clear way of playing. Everyone's on the same page. And I think that's important. Regardless of how you want to play, what formation you want to play, if the players are clear, everyone knows their job, and everyone fights for each other, and they've got a good culture in the change room, and they're all willing to fight, whether you're starting or on the bench. That is the recipe for success, and I think Johnny A has got that right, and it shows from their success in the past.
It's amazing. It's amazing what you say too, Peter, because I'll just say this too right now. You're actually playing Wollongong Wolves. You played them all year. Is that right? Wollongong Wolves, you played them all year. Is that right?
Yep.
So twice. There you go. Which means you're going to play them again. You're looking forward to that one for sure, because you know who they are.
Well, we know who they are when we played in the NPL, but now I hear that they've made some changes and signing some players, and they've got they've also, I'm not sure what I think the coach has changed as well. I think
all these coach changes now that are happening,
mate. We have
I think they might have a change of coach, which changes everything. So I won't be focusing on what we did. It's a different competition. It's 6 games that you have to, it's like a World Cup, basically.
It is.
You've got to be ready. You can't slip up. And if you want to go through, you can't make mistakes. And, so we're looking forward to playing Wollongong as well.
Kenny, are we going to see you at the games or what, Kenny? You must go to the games. Come on, mate. Yeah, I know you're going to be there for Olympic.
Well, I'll be at the Olympic Games. I certainly will be. Some of the games, look quite exciting, but the great thing, SBS are obviously showing all the games live, which is fantastic. I mean, SBS is my favourite broadcaster because no matter what they cover, whether it's sport or drama or whatever, they just do it so well. Now, I'm just hoping that the competition is not going to get judged on bums on seats.
Oh no!
Rather than viewing figures, because if they judge it on viewing figures, I think it will be successful. I don't think it's going to be successful on bums on seats because with the live games, like I've been saying for years and years now, when me and Peter played, supporters were different back then. They worked 6 days a week, and on Sunday it was a daily experience. Whether you were with Apia, Olympic, Croatia, it was a day out. You wanted to go. The food, the smell, the mates. That's changed. We've got fair weather supporters now. They'll go to the home games, but predominantly they don't go to the away games. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about if you're in Sydney, obviously Sydney, Melbourne, and the facts are there. You look at the A-League crowds, and even in fairness, Peter, your semi-final against Apia, a massive derby game, but pretty disappointing turnout, crowd-wise, right? That wouldn't have happened any other day. That would have been
packed.
Like it would have been gone, packed. You would never get a ticket. But I think the great thing is SBS has picked up the mantle, and they will do a fantastic coverage. You won't get stupid two cameras, and you won't get crap commentary. It'll be really good. and I think that will create an excitement, and hopefully, people will then watch it, and SBS will get great viewing figures, which will roll on to bigger and better things. That's how I see it.
I wanted to quickly touch as well. I feel like the best part about this whole thing is that SBS being free to air is showing the Australian Championship. I feel like it only deserved to be shown on free to air. If you paid for a subscription or something, which you got to pay for the A League and for the Premier League and whatever, but that's a completely different story. But I feel like it only deserved free-to-air coverage because, I mean, this is the biggest thing that's happened in football since probably the A-League started back in 2005. So this is huge, and I'm excited. As Kenny was saying, SBS just do it right, and I mean, I know you're excited, Harry. I'm excited. Everyone at home's excited.
Let me just say one thing about this. Everybody listening right now, please. Switch on to the championship. Switch on to the championship. Yes. Don't pay for Paramount, guys, for some reason to see that competition. This is the competition of the year. So forget about that competition. I hope you hate my guts after that because I hate yours too. That's the other thing. There you go. That's the thing. So let me just say one thing, Peter, is that you're actually playing. You're playing on the Sunday. Is that right, against Heidelberg? That's a Sunday game.
Yes.
And so
1 p.m. Sunday.
Gee, that's very early, mate. That brings us back to the NSL again. Is that right, mate? Those are the times and the historical times, Kenny. So there you go, mate. It is part of that too.
3 p.m. on a Sunday, mate. We played.
Yeah, but what Carlos? 1 p.m. Why is that, Carlos? What's the reason?
Well, I don't look. I believe the early kickoff is to allow Marconi to fly back into Sydney on the Sunday afternoon.
Uh-huh.
Because if you remember, we have a curfew in Sydney, which kicks in at 11:30 p.m. So to me, when we have these early games, no early game, but it's also a family-friendly time. 1 p.m., there's no excuse for the young ones not to go with mum and dad. But I have to say something about the TV sponsorship. I think it's an amazing move by FA to have contracted SBS to broadcast the game because there's a nostalgia factor. I remember many years ago, many of us, the only football we had on TV was the World Game, 1 hour a week, and we all watch it religiously. So there's also a nostalgia factor. The football is coming home where it belongs, where it all began with Les Murray, Johnny Warren, Captain Socceroo. It's all nostalgia. So I think it's great to have it. And I believe that 1 p.m., even the 3 p.m. kickoffs interstate will allow the teams to fly back before the last flight and therefore save on another accommodation and everything else that is attached to it. I think 1 p.m. brilliant because all the young ones could come and watch the game and they'd be tucked into bed by 6 o'clock.
One more.
Nailed it. Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, Peter, we're going to let you go in a minute. Now, let me say this. Now, you see the shirt that I'm wearing? Do you recognise it somewhere or what? Do you recognise the shirt?
Yeah, I do recognise it.
I'm going.
You might see something similar in the championship.
Ooh, well, mate,
he's giving us a sneak peek right here.
They're going to the 77 shirt they got. Mate, I'm wearing it that day. I'm going to come and see you that day and interview you. I'm going to do that, mate. You watch me.
I saw South Melbourne are advertising if you buy your tickets or your season ticket for the championship, they're giving a retro shirt away.
Oh no,
free.
Oh no. Just no.
So that'll be interesting.
I'm not going to say nothing. Peter, thank you for joining us. But I'll see you on that day at Marconi.
No problem.
You can't miss me. You won't miss me, mate. You won't miss me. That's for sure.
Yeah, if you can't see him, you'll definitely hear him. That's for sure.
Right, so Peter, thank you for joining us.
No one
Thanks,
can
Peter.
miss
Thanks,
Harry.
Go enjoy your game. What time are you going to the game tonight? There.
It starts here probably your time, 10:15, 8:15 local time.
Oh, fantastic, mate.
Perfect.
Thanks, Peter, for joining us tonight. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Guys.
Good luck.
We're
going to see you, mate. Don't worry, mate. Catch you, mate. I tell you what, boys. I tell you what. Yeah, I'm going to go through the groups here right now with you guys. I'm going to go through the groups because I tell you what, mate. There's one group I want to talk about to everybody here online, which is absolutely amazing. Because I tell you what, I spoke to you about this group earlier. We just did. But of course, South Hobart are playing in that group B with Heidelberg, Marconi, South Hobart, and Wollongong. That's amazing.
I feel like South Hobart got left out a little bit there. They are still still a strong team. Obviously,
They're very strong.
Ended up going down to South Melbourne, but unfortunately, they are still a strong team. And
They are very strong.
All the
Stefan.
signings that are being signed right now,
mate.
all the coaches and stuff being fired and everything like that. Don't discount South Hobart.
Now, let me go to Group A, Carlos and Kenny. This is Group A. Broadmeadow Magic. Now, we've got a Broadmeadows here, but it's a different Broadmeadow.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and they're actually a Macedonian-backed club. Morton City, and Morton City Excelsior. They won the top spot, which they didn't win. They didn't even win the final last week. South Melbourne, Sydney Olympic. Well, Kenny, are you coming down to Melbourne for the first game or what? No way.
No, I won't be, mate. But I will watch it. I will watch it, mate. Look, you know what happened the last time with the.
Oh, we know that.
With it, yeah. So we won't go there, right?
Exactly, we know
mate,
that. People,
that's an all fair conversation.
Kenny, can I say something?
Here we go.
You talk about fair weather supporters, and I'm surprised
here we go.
that you're not travelling to Melbourne, because if your heart was at the right place, you'll be walking to Melbourne to watch the game. You do criticise people who do not support the away teams, and Sydney Olympic has been a part of your DNA for a long, long time, and I'm surprised that you're not even walking to Melbourne for that day.
Well, mate, under normal circumstances, I would have gone.
I see.
Come on, Kenny,
But
Persuade him more, Carlos. Come on, persuade him more.
Let me just say the previous game, which was the Hellenic Herald Cup.
Yes.
There was issues.
At Cogra.
No, I was at Cogra.
I was there.
Yeah. I saw you there.
We're all there.
Yeah. And mate, I would like to say, mate, I don't take free tickets for anything. I'll pay for every ticket I get. I refuse to take freebies. I don't take freebies from any club, and I go there and I pay because I think that's the right thing to do. And I go and see the Mariners, Newcastle, Sydney FC, Olympic, Melita when they were still going. Always. There was an issue with the South Melbourne, and I was going, and I was paying my flights, everything.
Gee.
Okay. But there was some internal stuff there that I was totally unhappy about.
Gee.
About the treating of some people. So it was a matter of principle. But
okay, fair enough.
But I will say, and I probably shouldn't say it on here, I'm concerned that Olympic won't make the start of this because they won't have a coach. They potentially won't have a chairman.
Hang on for a second.
And they've lost their three best players to Central Coast Mariners.
Hang on.
And they haven't signed anyone.
Kenny, can I ask you a question?
What?
Now, you're available to coach, aren't you? You're available to coach for a couple of games. Can you do that?
I wouldn't coach again if my life depended on it. I did it for 15 years.
Yeah, but
I've paid my penance.
It's only about 7 games.
For the Australian Championship, though?
7 games, Kenny.
The three teams that did not have a coach, it gives an opportunity to a new up-and-coming coach to show what they could do. And even if Olympic lost 3 players, well, there's 3 positions for you, for young ones to step up and play the hearts out. So I think Olympic will be there with a new coach and new players who want to make an impression. So I think it'll be a great competition.
They finished 12th in the NPL, mate, and they're losing the 3 best players. So we're talking about it's supposed to be. Hang on, let's put any context. This is not a development fund competition. This is supposed to be something that's going to kick on to greater things. You can't be going in there saying, "Well, we'll give a new coach, with no experience and don't know the players, in 2.5 weeks going to start in a premium competition." I mean, it makes no sense.
It's a good point.
The logic is this should be for all coaches, and that's why I don't get it. All coaches that were at clubs, and I don't disagree with what you said, Carlos, about playing more games, because you know me, I hate this 17 and 18, 19 games. We should be playing 38 games and 40 games players.
Yes.
Coaches should be coaching longer. I totally agree with that. I can't get it that this guy, and he's done a wonderful job at Spirit, there's no doubt about it, 9 seasons, and there's only 9 weeks to go, that he can probably even progress his career a lot higher, and he goes. Avondale, exactly the same.
Yeah,
Olympic, I get the Olympic thing because there's issues there, but I just don't understand how. I do understand it. I understand how people are looking at this in different ways.
We haven't got much time left. I'm going to speak to Stefan about Avondale FC. You know Avondale FC, on top of the ladder all year, bang, bang, bang. They can't even win a final, and they were bundled out. That's another thing, and they're in Group C. Canberra, Croatia. Here we go, Carlos. This is NW New South Wales Spirit. New South Wales Spirit. What's NWS for? What's NWS Spirit? What is this? NWS.
It's Northwest. NWS stands for Northwest Sydney, and the Spirit FC is one of the few clubs that are funded by a large proportion by the local football association. Northern Tigers is another one that is funded by the local football association. St. George City FA is another NPF club that takes a lot of funding from the local association. So NWS is Northwest Sydney Spirit FC.
Where'd you go, Kenny? But anyway,
I don't know.
I've got an call coming in.
Okay, so
he's going to Melbourne.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah,
let me say one thing about this. And Preston Lions are the team there, in of course in that group, which means I can see a group. There's two clubs here that are going to go through, and you know that.
Yeah,
I don't see, and we Avondale have bought new players. And by the way, big breaking moment tonight, Bruno Fornaroli. So there you go. You're going to get a massive crowd there for Bruno Fornaroli. They're paying him a fortune, I know for a fact, just to get him there. He'll be scoring goals, Stefan. You know what he's like. So that's the thing.
A wealth of experience there.
Mate, and also Preston Lions have got new players again.
Yep.
They bought new players. So they're spending, the Victorian clubs have spent massive amounts of money. So that's the other thing.
Well, they've got 22 players to draw on from Western United.
Yeah, they've picked up a lot.
You've got a one-stop there. It's a bit like going to Woolies.
It is.
No, it really is.
No, that's called the reject shop. The reject shop. The reject shop, more likely.
Well, there's a job at Avondale for John Aloisi.
No, he's got the coach.
John Aloisi is looking for work.
They've got a coach.
Everyone else.
The coach is appointed. He's already appointed, the new coach.
I know, but I'm just saying. John Aloisi and his backroom staff are also looking for work because, there'll be a club that will offer them a job, and John Aloisi and his backroom staff will do really well.
Let me get it.
Watch this space up in Sydney, Mariners and Newcastle. Watch this space.
Exactly. Let me say now. The next Group D we're talking about. I call this the graveyard shift. This is definitely the graveyard of all graveyards. The group. I'll tell you why. You've got to go all the way to Perth to play. So how long do you get on the plane, Carlos, from, let's say, north? Well, they're the closest. Northeast Metro Stars from Adelaide. They're the closest team from there. And, of course, from Adelaide. And then Sydney United and Apia. My God, mate, those guys are going to be taking sleeping tablets to try and sleep on the plane, as far as I'm concerned, Carlos. What a trip that is.
Well, it's 4.5 hour flight, or 4 hours to Perth. So it is what it is. Bayswater had to travel 3 times away, 2 hours to Adelaide, 4 hours to Sydney, and let's embrace it. And I'm sure it'll be a great experience for the players many of us have never been to Perth. So it's a good opportunity to go and play football and visit Perth. So it's win-win for everyone, Harry.
Exactly. So that's going to be on TV as well. And, of course, Kenny, the graveyard, Group D, called the graveyard group. Kenny, did you ever travel yourself to Perth to play at all at any time?
I have in the past.
What was it like?
It wasn't actually, it wasn't the NSL, but I went and played in some tournaments there. Perth's a beautiful place.
Oh, yes.
But you just don't want to rush in and rush out. If you're playing in Perth on the Saturday, you've got to get in there on the Friday.
You have to.
You got to get in the day before, and you got to, and then obviously you don't want to be getting the red eye at 11 o'clock at night.
No, terrible.
That's a horrible flight. I've done that a couple of times, never again. Geographically, it's going to be a nightmare for them because obviously, they don't have any other teams like Sydney, Melbourne have got, where you've got home games that are really away games. You know, like Apia will play Sydney United at Sydney United against Apia. It's 15, 20 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
Perth have not got that. Every second week they've got 4.5 hours. And the same with Hobart. I mean, Hobart's, got the same issue. So that's no easy for them. But, who knows? I mean, you don't know what, the unknown factor is how many new players these clubs will bring in.
Mm. Oh, they do.
How many?
They're doing
yeah, that's the unknown factor. And like we said before, we're looking at, obviously Apia won the grand final, Spirit won the minor league in Sydney, Heidelberg in Melbourne. But that's not to say that Preston Lions haven't signed 5 or 6 players.
Heidelberg did not finish on top. It was Avondale.
It was Avondale.
Yes,
top, correct.
Yeah, but Heidelberg won the grand final. Yeah?
Yes, they did. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry,
and that's why they win.
Because unfortunately, I agree with you. If you win the minor premiership, you're the best team. If you win the grand final, it's a one-off game.
Consolation. So consolation.
I'm a bit of that. That's why Spirit, and did an unbelievable job. And Manly did it a couple of seasons ago as well. With a very little budget and just with local product. When you do that across 18, 19, 20 games,
consistency.
That's the true league winners. But it'll be interesting to see. Some of these teams will probably be shadows of what they were in the NPL for the good, and some be in the poor, because I would suspect South Melbourne and even maybe Heidelberg, certainly Preston, will probably have 4 or 5 new players. Avondale will probably have 2 or 3 new players. So there'll be quite dramatic changes. So I don't know if we can gauge the NPL performance against what's going to happen now.
It's like what Peter said before about this is a different game. We're going to be going bang, bang, bang. It's not going to be like we've got a chance we've got to qualify. We've got to win 2 games. It's like a miniature World Cup type thing. So they've got to actually win the first 2 games. A draw, maybe 2 draws and 1 win.
It's like a World Cup.
Yes, it is.
It is. You've got to win. You've got to win. Obviously, you've got to finish first or second to progress.
That's right.
And then if you don't, you're playing for a biscuit tin. You're just playing in the other teams. No, it is. It's like there's nothing to play for if you don't make the top 2.
Exactly.
It's just a token to get the games up, to make sure that they get 7 or 8 games or whatever. So obviously the team that wins it will play 9 games.
Yeah.
And the team that gets to the final will play 9 games.
I'll ask you.
The other teams will play 8.
Footballers feature story with Bentley Green's coach George Katsakis.
Welcome, Georgia Footballers. Congratulations, of course, at Bentley Greens, mate. You've risen from the ashes like the phoenix from the ashes, the fire. Mate, it's amazing when you took over halfway through last year and you were working things out with them and what was going on. But I tell you what, mate, this year has been a success where you've ended up on top and you've won the cup there too, and you're back in the NPL. So how do you feel now?
Yeah, very, very proud, H. It was a great opportunity for me to get myself back into football, and of course through the avenue of Bentley Greens, they gave me that opportunity. Of course, it was a bit of a challenge. We had quite a few challenges on our hand. The club wasn't travelling too well. They've made me the offer and we've come in. We've changed things quite dramatically. We've incorporated a new structure, a new plan, and of course a new mentality, that winning mentality that I obviously had at Heidelberg for many years. So we're able to bring the culture in and change it, and the rest is history. It was an amazing year.
And I tell you what, mate, when we spoke to you last year and you were down and out and everything at your cafe there, but mate, now you've turned around things again. Now these guys are back in the NPL. The big question is, are you hanging in there? Are you going to be there? You've got a few little things to fix up next year in the NPL, of course. We know how it works, and when you're back in the NPL, you're going to do things a bit differently too.
Certainly. I think it's a new league, it's a new challenge. It becomes a new challenge for the club again. The one thing for sure is that I will be at Bentley Greens next year. That's just been signed and sealed, so I'll be there for the next couple of years, putting things in place again, and hopefully with the right personnel coming on board and with what we have available to us, it's important that we create a bit of stability, make sure that the club doesn't go, looking for the highest, obviously winning or trying to win the league. I think it's important that we sustain a bit of a stability before we actually give it another crack. It's a bit like the plan that we had set up with Heidelberg a few years ago, discussed about sustaining the league, making sure that we grow, accordingly, and then obviously give it a crack. And nothing different to what we are planning to do with Bentley Greens.
And you also, when I was watching the games last year, of course, when you took over, I was checking out what was going on. You had some great wins last year, and of course those wins last year made up this year to get you on top and winning and getting through to the NPL. Are you looking for new players? You'll be looking for new players. Of course, you've come up now from, well, we call this NPL2, of course, and it should be NPL2. It always, when you go to the next level, you're always looking for someone again. Is that right?
Yeah, look, I think it's important that you respect and acknowledge the players that have helped you go through this process. But no doubt, moving up a level, I think we now need to bring in some more personnel to be able to sustain what we have, and make sure that we, we're not going in there with the purpose of coming straight back down. So I think it's really important that we bring in the right people once again, and try and hold our own, and obviously create a bit of a dressing room camaraderie, a bit like we had this year, make it an enjoyable environment, and then slowly work towards new targets.
And the other thing about that being, I was actually up there early in the year, of course, you're talking about what a club they've got down there, what facilities have. The hall is absolutely, mate, their hall is that big. You can have function, the things you could do there, George, honestly.
Yeah, I think the facility there is just impeccable, to be honest. It's got a great catchment of players, and in that immediate area, there's so many people around and thriving to play football, and I think the club's doing a terrific job off the pitch as well as on the pitch. But we're bringing in a lot of new players, a lot of young kids. Female football or the women's football is thriving at the moment at the club. Some great academies led by Broxy, of course. So at the moment, I think it's an infrastructure that's built correctly and moving in the right direction.
And of course, in that area is the Bentley Greens are the last club. They're the furthest club out of the NPL area. Is that right? So there's not really anyone further away. Is there anyone further away?
In terms of NPL, that's correct.
Yes.
I think, going down a step at VPL1, there's quite a few in and around there, maybe a little bit further, but I think what's really important is that we have a massive catchment area. So I think with going to the NPL now, I think it's going to lure quite a few new players, new youngsters, and a lot more families. And, a bit like this year, the family support around the club was just exceptional.
And of course, in that area that you are, there must be a massive catchment area out there, because you're the last. You're now the NPL club up there, which means there must be a lot of kids joining in that area. The juniors must be coming through there. What's the development? Of course, what is the development like for juniors down there? Of course, at Bentley Greens.
So it's always had a great pathway, and obviously developing players is one of the processes needed to make sure that the club is up and above everyone else. And no doubt, we're using that pathway to develop kids. We're bringing in some great kids into our squad again this year. We had 3 or 4 part of it last year. So I think, I think the future's really rosy at the moment. It looks like the club's heading in doing all the right things. So if we can keep building on that, then I think it's a very prosperous next few years.
It's really funny here being at West Preston, because if you look at the colours behind you, do they remind you about some team that you're in?
Yeah,
West Preston, the Greek colours, and you're a sponsor down here as well. You've been a sponsor for many years.
Yeah, Mel's has been sponsoring for a while. I'm happy to be part of the West Preston family. It's something that we, got involved with a few years ago. They've got a great culture. It reminds me a lot of my early days in football. So it's good to give back to grassroots and the broader community. So that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that we give back.
George, thank you very much today. And the only way is up for Bentley Greens right now, guys. So watch this space for next season. George is back in the NPL. Thank you for joining us today, guys, here at West Preston. Thank you. Let me say, Stefan, I sent a message to our dear president. We call him our dear president, David Svetovsky down at, of course, Preston.
Shout out.
They're playing in Macedonia.
They are correct.
They're playing in a tournament in Macedonia,
Yep.
Carlos, and they're playing. They were invited by the government to play in a tournament there, so they're coming straight back to actually play in the. So they're coming straight from playing a tournament, straight off the plane, straight to play again. How do you feel about that? No break, really.
Well, it'll be tough, especially the time zone difference is going to be the worst part about it. But I know for a fact they are over there right now competing at a high level. I mean, good opportunity for them, to try and put to the test. I feel like a lot of these NPL teams that have signed all these new players, that they're not going to get quite the match play under the belt to try and build the chemistry. And for Preston right now, who are playing over there, and I mean, the biggest club in Victoria here by far, without a shadow. There are a lot of Macedonians who are back in Macedonia right now who know of them and will follow them a lot. So I think it's great for them that they've gone to play. Don't think timing-wise is probably the best thing for them, but I think overall, I think that the toughest part will be the time zone difference coming back here, because they're going to be on a completely different clock. The completely different time clock compared to all the other teams, but I think it's a great opportunity for them as well, just to showcase their talents, because I mean Preston have so many players.
Could they steal a player from Macedonia to play? That's the other thing.
I think that's probably another reason why they've gone to play as well.
I mean, they're going to be favourites for this too. That's the thing about David's a very smart operator, so I know how he works. But Carlos, how can you be a team that's gone overseas? You played in the finals. You played all year. You're going straight to Macedonia. How do you feel? The rest. There's no rest for these guys.
Well, you have to take the opportunity when they arise. It's a privilege for Preston Lions to have been invited to go and play in North Macedonia, as it's properly called now. So it is a privilege.
No one calls it North Macedonia. Just want to put that out there.
Well,
Sorry, I got it wrong.
But I'm saying it is a privilege for the club to be tapped on the shoulder, and if you knocked it back, it might never come back to you. So you had to take that opportunity. It's also an opportunity for the players to showcase their talent overseas, because you don't know who's watching those games. There could be a scout from I don't know, First Division, Macedonia, Italy. You don't know. So you go there and you play the best you could ever be, because you could win you an overseas contract.
Exactly.
Plus, a lot of these players at the moment that have gone over there have never been over there.
Never been to Europe.
Never been to Europe, And
that's right.
Preston have so many high-quality players.
Yes.
I mean, their captain, Stefan Negro, played for Melbourne Victory, Central Coast Mariners. So there's a lot of these players, especially, who haven't actually been over there.
So let me say,
back in my day, mate, we in 1981, we finished end of September in the old NSL. We went to the UK,
Manchester.
We played Man United, we played Preston, then we played the Malaysian national team.
Wow.
We got back in December, and on the 16th of January, we played the Hungarian national team in Vojvodina on the way to the 82 World Cup, or the build-up. So what Carlos is saying is, you got to take these opportunities when they come. They're lifetime,
life-changing.
Yeah, for me, you just don't forget it. Playing at Old Trafford, playing against. I should have said to Peter, we played in Johor in front of 42,000. Back in the day when the Malaysian league was huge, before the betting scandals and they were getting massive crowds in the 90s. Malaysia was a huge competition, and mostly Eastern European players. There was a lot of Yugoslavian boys going there, a lot of Croatians. They were playing there, quality players. The league was of high quality. But as Carlos says, you can't not take that opportunity. It's just that they'll never forget that.
I just want to quickly add one more thing as well. Is for a lot of these younger players who are aspiring to still keep playing and pursue their dreams professionally as well, at the moment, NPL, and keep playing as well, they got to get used to the travel factor, time zone, traveling constantly, as what we just heard as well. Like, you got to get used to this time travel, and it's anywhere. If you want to play professionally at the highest level, you got to get used to constantly. Your body's never going to feel right. So if they want to, which I think it's a great opportunity, once again, that Preston have gone over there. So again, if they want to keep on pursuing it, they got to take those opportunities, and they just got to get used to it.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna.
I'm still jet lagged now. It was 4 weeks I've been back.
Guys, it's amazing. But let me say, Kenny, the first game of the season on the 10th of October.
I'm excited for this.
We're going to be there doing something.
We're going to be there doing something.
We're going to be doing some interviews there. Of course,
put in our media thing the other day as well.
That's good, fantastic. Because we want it. And we've got a director coming in too. A director. We're going to have a director. And Carlos has met the director. Isabella, the director's coming in to help us. She's coming in.
Yes, a beautiful young lady,
very nice lady.
Capable, and she's an amazing addition to the team.
Fantastic, yes.
Who will bring professionalism
Yes, she will.
and expertise to make this show a better show than what it is. So well done, Isabella, for coming back.
Remember what she did, Carlos and Kenny?
Is that the young lady we had in Melbourne?
Yes, what she did, the camera switching was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. The camera switching, when you meet, she's absolutely amazing what she did. So she's a student at RMIT. She's very high up as a director too up there. So let me tell you, Kenny, the first game on the 10th, South Melbourne versus Sydney. On the 11th, there's two games on that date. We're talking Metro Stars versus West Apia. West Apia? Get back to the old name, will you? Preston Lions versus then WS Spirit. Now, Carlos will be watching that very closely, of course.
I'll be watching that one
Sunday the 12th of October, Broadmeadow Magic versus Moreton City. That's going to be a really dark sort of game. We don't think about these clubs. And so South Hobart versus Wollongong Wolves, Heidelberg United versus Marconi Stones, as we said earlier, Sydney United versus Bayswater City. Thank God it's in Sydney and not
deserves
in Perth,
to be in that one, I think.
And of course, Avondale FC. I think you'll find Avondale FC be very, very strong for Canberra, Croatia. So that's the thing. So, boys, what can we say? Next week on the football show, we're going to have another coach, another surprise coach. We'll be talking to you about that next week. So just watch this space this week. The advertising on Footballers, also on Channel 31. And then don't forget, next Monday we're back and we're going to be doing something very different again. So, boys, please, thank you for joining us on Footballers. Thanks, guys. Thank you.